This is the last mistake, and it might be the most different thing you'll hear in this entire series. And I want to start off by asking you, what if you could know before you built anything whether the offer would actually convert? And you can do that for 20 to 30 bucks in less than 48 hours. And I'm talking about both free and paid offers. You see, most experts, they believe that if I just build something amazing, if I just build it right and do that right the first time, then everything will work out. And so they might spend 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 4 months building a new lead magnet, a new quiz funnel, a new webinar, a new something, make it perfect. And then it doesn't convert. It doesn't actually attract people. It doesn't convert them into leads. It doesn't convert them into sales. Not because the idea was bad, because you never tested whether someone actually wanted it. I call this offer blindness. That's creating offers, whether those are free or paid, based on what you think is good without actually testing, making sure that people respond to what you're saying, respond to how you're describing it. And offer blindness is why experts, domain experts, owners, agency owners waste months and thousands of dollars building up all these marketing assets that don't convert. Or they build the right thing, but they just describe it in the wrong way. Now, you could test every last detail about your offer, but if you could only test one single ingredient, all you would really need to test is your headline, be that of a free or paid offer. The godfather of advertising said it best. He said that on average, 5 times as many people read the headline as they read the body copy of your ad. So when you've written your headline, you've spent 80 cents out of your dollar. So what that means is if you haven't sold your offer with the headline, you sure as hell won't sell it with the body copy because people won't make it that far. So oftentimes the question isn't, is my idea for this new offer good enough? The question is, does my headline stop people from scrolling and get them to click? Is it click worthy? So the fix really isn't building faster or using AI. It's testing first and then building something people actually want. And the way you cure offer blindness is with something I call offer testing. Offer testing is how you validate your headline, the 80 cents of your dollar, before you build anything else. So instead of spending months creating this course, this quiz funnel, this webinar, whatever it is, you take 20 to 30 bucks, 48 hours or less. You test whether your market actually responds to how you're describing it, and then you build it. So you go from building blind and hoping to testing for a few bucks and knowing. And I'm actually going to show you that the course that you're going through right now, this video that you're actually watching, I validated it using offer testing before I created a single video. In a nutshell, I basically took a bunch of different headlines, different ways to describe this offer, free video series, this free course. And then I turned those into images, ran those inside Meta ads, put $20 a day into the test for about 3 days, then looked at the results and then built the course. I'm going to show you the different tests that I ran inside Meta ads to validate my headline using the offer testing method that I'm talking to you about right now. So here you can see this is the landing page of my lead magnet for the free course that I created that you're going through right now. Here's the headline on it, the 5 marketing mistakes experts make that keep them stuck below 20K a month and how to fix them. And this is the page that you see here. But before I actually created it, I did some testing. Now I want to give you a little bit of context so that you can understand the numbers. So this report, I have some stats here from on the Shopify website. Shopify is the largest platform for e-commerce stores. But here, what they've done is they've also gathered some data from other sources. So the average conversion rate is single digits. And the question that we're asking here is, what is the general landing page statistic? And I'm not showing you this. This will make sense in a second. Once I show you the conversion rate that I achieved on my landing page and why it's so important. So the average conversion rate is single digits across all industries. The median conversion rate from visits to a landing page is 6.6%. And another study, this is another source from HubSpot, found that nearly 2 out of 3 marketers report that their average landing page conversion rate is less than 10%. Okay. So 6.5% and then 10%. Those are from 2 sources. Then we have another few sources here. And when we look at paid traffic specifically, the report is from Unbounce, and the numbers there per industry, my industry is this one, the B2B services and consulting. I'll zoom in here a little bit. is here. The average median conversion rate is 3.5 to 6.8. And the top performers, the people that are in the top 10, 20% are 11%. And people that are achieving 11% with cold traffic, paid traffic, these are companies that have super optimized their landing page. They've super optimized their headlines, their images, their calls to action, everything. Like they're doing so much testing on the page you can't even imagine, which I can teach you and I can show you later. But for this example, I'm just going to keep it simple for you. And so here's the number, 11%. Now, if I go into my campaign, I'm going to show you that landing page that I showed you. So I'm going to actually duplicate this because I'm going to show you something else. Okay, so the landing page conversion rate that I have on my two ads are 25.3% and 11.6%. And so the average there is 21.4%. And so I'll open these up for you to see that they're really simple. And here, all I'm doing is I'm using the exact same words that I used in the test. And I'm going to show you the test in a second. But all the words that I'm using, this image, I actually tested it before I created it. So I'll walk you through that as well. But I want to show you that this is the exact same thing that's on the page, right? So experts earning less than 20K a month make the same 5 mistakes. Here's what they're talking about. Biggest marketing mistakes experts make. And you can see that that's all aligned with the 5 marketing mistakes experts make. That gives them stuck below 20K a month. And so you can see that there. And you can also see the conversion rate, how the conversion rate that I was able to achieve is 2, sometimes 3 times more, sometimes 4 times higher. Like if you're looking at a conversion rate of 6%, right? That's the median. Our page got 25%. So that's easily 4 times higher than the average. And twice as high as industry leaders, right? Now, let me walk you through some of the tests, okay? Let me go here. So the first test I ran was October 28th when I came up with this idea. And the total amount of money that I spent for that test on that day was, let's see if it gives me the total. I can probably just go into the campaign and then it'll show you at the bottom. Here, so I spent $14.34 on this test. And then here, I'll just click the ads that I ran. And then here, you can see that I just put words on the image, on a colorful image, colorful background. And I'm just trying to test the same words, right? Like, how can I say the thing that I'm trying to say in a way that's clear to people? And so the 5 marketing mistakes coaches make before hitting 20K a month that attracts leads who never buy, 0 discovery calls booked, and charging $500 for work worth $5,000. So that's one of them. And let me actually click in this order here. Sorry, one more thing that I need to show you is I need to order these by click-through rate. So it's already ordered by click-through rate, and actually all of these are very strong. So all of them are already winners. So one thing that I'll continue to explain to you in the rest of this video is, how do you know if it's a winner? How do you know that, okay, I'm showing you that I tested some words and I put it on an image and I ran it inside Facebook and I spent $14 for a test. The next part is, the next step is, well, after you've run the test, then how do you know if the test went well or didn't go well? What should you do next? And so here, what I want to show you is that my benchmark is at least 1% click-through rate, link click-through rate. What the link click-through rate metric, and when you're watching this, Meta will probably change the metrics that are up here. They're actually introducing, there's actually an update you can see here. There are new ways that they're measuring and they're reporting on ads. And so when you come into Meta, they will probably have different reporting. But at the time of recording this, the way the link click-through rate is calculated is essentially anyone that clicks the read more or clicks a link inside your ad. So if you write in your primary, what's called the primary text field, if you embed a link in there and somebody clicks the link inside your primary text, or they click the learn more or buy now or whatever the little button is on your ad, those two types of clicks will count towards the link click-through rate. Everything else will go into the click-through rate all, which is this statistic here. And usually the click-through rate all is higher than the link click-through rate. And you can use whichever metric. I just like to use the link click-through rate because I think it's a better indicator for the ad. So that's what I use. And the important thing is just pick one and be consistent across all your tests so that you can see, okay, I'm always tracking for link click-through rate. So let me just always look at link click-through rate across all of my tests so that you don't change that key variable of what you're measuring and then start to, judge things in different ways using different metrics, because then things are going to just be completely different. And that's not what you want. When you're running a test, you want things to be as similar as possible and only change one variable at a time. And here, the only variable that we're changing are the words. That's it. And so you can see between each of these tests that the only thing that's different are words. So I don't change. Let me go in order here. So whenever you click that little checkbox to select all the ads in this ad set, it'll select all the ads. And the first one is the highest converting. Yeah, the one with the highest link click-through rate here, 1.94. But they're all pretty similar, 1.9, 1.91. They're pretty similar. And so I used pretty much all of the copy here, except the last little bit, because as I continued to test it, I found other variations. So that was the first test I ran. Then the next day, I ran another test because I'm so curious. And I ran 8 more tests here. And so here, if you want to see how much I spent here, here I spent a total of $30.27 on this test. And so let me make sure that it is sorting by link click-through rate. Yeah, link click-through rate. So you can see here that some of them, and this is where it gets interesting. You can see that this headline was more interesting by a factor of 4. So this was 4 times more interesting than this headline. So let's look at those two headlines side by side. So this one performed better than this one. They're not much different, but when I ran the test, one was 4 times more interesting. So which one do I run with? I run with the one that is 4 times more interesting. And I let the market decide what's interesting. I don't decide what's interesting. I simply come up with the ideas for what headlines I think I should test, run the test, look at the results, and then move on to the next step. So here, I picked that headline, and then here, let me see, what test was I running here? So this test, and this is getting into a little bit more advanced steps, is I started to test what is the packaging of the offer. So here I kept the headline the same from the previous winner. And then here, all I'm testing next is, okay, well, how do people want this thing? How should I name it? And so here I just said, get the trust gap map. Not a great name, but I tested it. Then I tested, get the trust first method. Then I tested, get the trusted coach cheat sheet. People even gave this a thumbs up. So here I was just trying to test the naming of it. What should I name this new lead magnet? Because I didn't really have a name for it. And then I saw that, only 3 of those were actually winners. So that informed how I should package it. And so the trust gap is what I went with. Here, I just labeled it later, trust gap, because that was the name that won. And so I went back and renamed everything so that it's easier for me to find and easier to report and easier to show you. Here, let's see the next test. What I was trying to do here, I believe, is just test the medium. Oh, here I was just testing new packaging. I thought about the playbook as a word. Get the leads for coaches playbook, and then get the coaching leads playbook. So the words are just slightly different. You see that these did not perform as well as the previous test. So I kept the trust gap. And so then once I had the trust gap locked in, I decided, okay, well, let me test an image for this thing. And you'll see the one that I have now is different, but I want to show you kind of like the iterative process, right? So once I got the words down, which I showed you, then I decided the name, which I showed you, trust gap. Then I started to test, well, how could I show that trust gap to people? Maybe I just put it on a simple little image that looks kind of like an ebook, because this is going to be an e-course, a free email course. And I'll just show this to people, right? See what happens. And so here, when I ran my test with this format, this one performed the best. This one at the bottom performed the worst. So the trust gap like this with the copy kind of locked in like that, that's the one that performed the worst. That's second worst, third worst. And then here we have second best and then the best one. So there, that is how I worked my way up into, what is this next one? Yeah, this is something else. Okay. So once I ran through these tests and I validated that it's a trust gap, and I validated what the headline is going to be, and I validated, what I'm going to talk about, then that's when I actually decided, okay, let me create this course. There's enough people that are interested. They're clicking. It's above 1% for each of the things. Remember that I'm doing this step by step. I want to validate the headline first. Then I want to validate the name of this thing. I want to validate, like, how do I package it as an e-course? Sometimes I'll do that. I'll validate whether it's going to be a lead magnet, a PDF, or a video, or a webinar, or a workshop, or a course, or whatever the packaging is. Because in different industries, you can find that people respond differently. Some markets are saturated with webinars, some are saturated with courses, and so on. And so you could test the packaging of it, and you can do this really quickly. All of these tests I ran in just 24 hours. As you can see from the dates on the ad set, here's one day, then the next day, then the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. So they don't take long for you to get the results. They're really quick and they're really cheap. So those are a few key qualities that are super important. And let's get back to the worksheet now. Let's work through these steps. Okay, so step number 1 is writing down your headlines. All you want to do here is write down at least 10 different variations of your lead magnet. Let's say, for example, that you're building off the lead magnet idea that you did in the previous step in mistake number 4, where we said that the mistake is creating lead magnets that don't lead to sales. And you've found your hot topic, you've packaged it with one of those angles, whether it was the warning or a demo or the examples angle you chose. Simply go through and write down different headline variations, okay? Write those. That's for step number 1. Step number 2 is you're going to take each of those headlines and turn it into an image, okay? And the way you do that is, the easiest way is, you could probably do this with AI now, but I like to use Canva so that all the text is the same, all the images are the same. So on your screen right now, what you see is just a square image with text on it. And that text that you see, that's what my headlines look like, okay? So what you want to do is, for each of your images, you want to keep everything the same. So pick a color that you're going to use for your test. Doesn't matter what color you choose. It can be even beige, it could be green, purple, whatever color you want. Just make sure that there's enough contrast between your text and the background image. Also, make sure that your font is large enough. You can use the image here, or the image in the worksheet, or the guidelines in the worksheet for the text, line height, all that stuff. Use the guidelines in the worksheet to guide you. The key thing is that you don't change anything between each of your images. Make sure that you just copy and paste your image into each of your images and then export those. Now that you have all those separate images, it's time for step 3. You're going to run each of these images inside a traffic campaign. Inside your traffic campaign, inside Meta, you're going to select clicks as your conversion event. Then inside your ad set, you're going to define a $20 per day ad budget as your maximum spending. And your campaign might not even spend all that money. Now, the key thing here is that you want to limit the audience size to a maximum of 10 million people. And to do that, just go through the audience settings, the geographic settings, the settings that you see inside the ad set option, to narrow down the amount of people that you're showing this ad to. The key here is to not get too bogged down on all the interest settings, on all the different ways that you can narrow this down. If you're advertising in the US, for example, you could choose one geographic location, like a state or a region, then narrow it down by, say, men or women, then narrow it down further with, say, one or two interests. Anything more than that is completely unnecessary. That'll get you started to make sure that you're targeting the right people, because more and more, Meta is using the ad itself as the targeting, as the way to filter, as the way to reach the right person. And so they're looking at the image, they're looking at the copy inside your ad to determine who to show it to. Okay, so the next step is to set up a rule. After you click publish, close that big little modal that you see in front of you, and then you're gonna move over to the rules, click rules, and then select create new rule. And in there, you're going to create a new rule that turns off the ads automatically after they reach 380 impressions. And then you want to do this for the lifetime of the ad. And if you need to, you can use additional filters to only target ads in a specific ad set or a specific campaign. For example, if you already have a bunch of different campaigns and a bunch of different ads running, and you don't want this rule to impact the ads that you're already running, then you can use a filter so that it only impacts this new testing campaign that we set up together. Okay. So then click on save your rule. And now that rule will turn off ads for you once they reach 380 impressions. Now, just a word of warning, you probably will see some ads that will get around 385 impressions. Some might get 430 impressions, but they should usually land within the 400 impression range. Okay, because what you're looking for here is to give a fair shot at each of your ads to get at least 400 impressions so that you can get some signal back on the messaging, on the words that you're testing. You're not looking for statistical significance here. You're looking simply just for a signal, and 400 impressions is all that you need. Once that's been set up, all you have to do now is wait, and you're just going to wait for about 24 to 48 hours, probably even less than that, depending on how you've set up your ads. And sometimes even within a few hours, you can already get enough impressions and enough clicks on your results. And when you're looking at the results, all you want to do is you want to click on link click-through rate and order your ads by the link click-through rate. The link click-through rate tells you which of your ads got people to stop scrolling and click on the learn more button. And so it's a really nice way for you to just figure out, hey, from all the messages that I shared these with a bunch of people in this type of category, in this grouping, and I showed them this image, and I told them that my ad was related to this type of specific service category. Was it enough to get them to stop scrolling and click? And usually 99% of the time when I run these tests, there's usually 1, 2, 3, or 4 different headlines that really jump out. And the benchmark that you're looking at here is at least 1%. If you have an image that gets at least 1% link click-through rate, then that is what we consider a winner. That's a really good signal, and you should move forward with that headline. If you get above 1%, above 2%, awesome, because you know that that's really getting people to stop and click. You just want to make sure that you're not putting headlines that are super clever or super catchy or have any emojis in them or any other reasons why people might be clicking on them. You don't want to try to be clever and trick people into clicking. You want to make sure that what you're describing in your headline is clear and tangible, and people really understand what it is you're trying to describe. You're really trying to see, if I describe it this way, is it clear? Is it click-worthy? And will people take action? Will people move on to the next step? And so if you've run through this and you've found your winner, awesome. Take that winner and use that as the headline for your new offer, whether that's a lead magnet, a course, a coaching program, whatever it is. Use that as your headline because you know it's validated. And of course, if you want to continue to validate, if you want to continue to look for even better headlines, you can continue to do this forever. That's not what I recommend, but you've unlocked that power, that ability for yourself now if you've gone through these steps. And the reason why this changes everything is because you're not guessing anymore. You're testing. You came up with an idea with the headline. Remember, we walked through all these different steps about your offer of taking it and looking at it like a bullseye. Then picking the hot topics, the topics that are closest to that core value of your process, usually the last steps in your process. Those are your hot topics. And then turning that hot topic into a trust magnet by packaging it up in one of those 4 angles that we talked about. Then from there, you turn one of those angles into different headlines, at least 10. Then you tested those headlines with real human beings that clicked on the ad. You're at a point where you've had the idea, you've gone through all the steps, and now you have a signal you should be feeling like, wow, this is so cool. This is so great. I don't have to wonder. I don't have to ask my friends for feedback. I can, because sometimes you ask your friends, they'll give you biased information, biased feedback. Now you can just go out into the market and test whenever you have a new idea for a new project, a new offer. And where offer blindness might cost you weeks or months of building the wrong thing, offer testing costs you a few bucks and 24 to 48 hours to resolve. So in 24 to 48 hours, you can get a response back from real people to know if you're building the right thing. And that's the end of our series. That is mistake number 5. I hope you found this helpful. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you will learn about these mistakes. Hopefully, you're not making all of them. And if you are, totally fine. Go and fix what you can today. Give yourself some time, put in some work, and you'll be head and shoulders above the people in your niche, because we have two ways to approach this going forward. You can take everything that's in the worksheet, take everything that's in this video and apply it. Go and apply it because it's going to help you. But if you don't want to do that on your own, option 2 is to get in touch with us, because that is exactly what we do. We fix these types of mistakes for domain experts to help them to sell their expertise, turn their skills into sales. And so if that's what you're looking for a team of people, of both experts in terms of how to deliver your skills, how to attract people with your skills, and how to convert people with your skills, then that's what we do. So click the link below if you'd like to book a call, where on the call, we will walk through your exact offer, walk through your business, walk through your marketing, and we'll even run a free offer test for you with our own budget and our own ad account to help you validate a lead magnet, whether that's a new lead magnet or an existing lead magnet that you're working on, so that we can help you to accelerate your growth. Again, my name is Marcio Santos from Nerd Digital. I appreciate you for being here and for listening.